The rise of the divine feminine. A few days ago, I did a video on the distorted versus the divine aspects of masculine and feminine energies. And I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the divine feminine side because this is a very important bit of the ascension process and it's really relevant right now. So let's start with a little overview, reminder on the divine feminine. So the divine feminine leads from creativity, from intuition, with wisdom, with compassion, and from a very nurturing perspective. And that's a perfect complement to the masculine aspect, the divine masculine aspect, which is more outward focused and action based. So the divine feminine calls in its manifestations and what it wants to receive and uses its intuition and its creativity and its love and nurturing compassion to project those manifestations out into the world. And then the masculine takes the action steps necessary to move it forward. And this is not about sex or gender. This is, all of us have both of these aspects within us. And like everything in this realm, there's duality and polarity and a desire to achieve union or balance between the two aspects within that duality. So one of the things that I think happens a lot in this world lately is there's this very negative perception of the patriarchy. And I don't disagree with that. What I disagree with is it's not patriarchy that's bad. And conversely, it's not matriarchy that's bad. It is distorted patriarchy or patriarchy that's led by a distorted masculine. That is what is out of alignment. That is what we should be railing against, not patriarchy, period. It's distorted masculine that is the problem. And we've had, both aspects can be positive or negative, negative, right? That you sort of perceived that way, distorted or divine. And again, we're trying to get back to that divine union of both divine aspects. Now, these things go through cycles. This is just my belief system based on things I've come across and sort of my intuition largely. And what I noticed was that I believe that the last time that we had an ascendant or a matriarchal society, and we've had them in many places, like Lemuria was I believe very divine feminine led. Ancient Egypt was the last time that we had, another time that we had a divine masculine or a matriarchy, and it was beautiful, and it was a golden age. And if you look at art and other hieroglyphs and books and things that artifacts from the time, it looks to me like it was a divine feminine led society, civilization. It was a beautiful golden age. But like everything in this realm, things cycle. And so after the rise of the divine feminine and that matriarchal society in ancient Egypt for a long period of time, eventually it became distorted, corrupt, and it fell. The same thing happened in Lemuria. And as it fell, it started to become abusive to the male aspect, to the masculine aspect, both energetically and in the real world. And so when that got to a certain point, the masculine, the male aspect rejected and took over, but was itself distorted, remained distorted, and then led to a distorted patriarchy, which we are fighting to dismantle now. So these cycles come and go, and there's not good or bad about it, but where are we now? The divine feminine is ascendant again, and I believe we're achieving now union. In fact, over the last couple of weeks, I've had a lot of meditations where the left aspect tends to be, the left side of your body tends to be the feminine aspect, and the right side of the body tends to be the masculine aspect. And I believe it's flipped in the mind, but just let's think about the body. Like your right leg is the masculine side, your left leg is the feminine side. And what's good about that is if you've got pain in one or the other, it's on the divine, and sorry, it's on the masculine or the feminine aspects, and you can heal that. And for me, internally, very repressed feminine aspect that needed to be healed and nurtured and brought to the forefront. And I've worked on that for a long time. And what I've seen over the last couple of weeks is kind of these two sides, these two aspects melding together, knitting together. And I believe this is happening on a collective basis as well, where the divine feminine is healing and finding union with the divine, or the feminine is healing into the divine feminine, the masculine is healing into the divine masculine, and the two are finding union. And in union, there's that perfect balance of the masculine can go out and do the action steps to bring what needs to be brought from a creative perspective that's driven by the feminine, more of a receiver, whereas the masculine is more of a getter. And so together we can really recreate the civilization that we live in a higher state of consciousness, because we can remove the distortions and the patriarchy, balance the masculine versus the feminine, remove distortions from the feminine, and create a golden age. And this golden age will be anchored in by an ascendant divine feminine.